never were a fan of Thax Zero. I have no idea what Thax Zero is, but yet it's using the Stars Without Numbers AC system where to hit you must always roll a 20 or above, and your target's AC is added to your roll, so a lower AC is actually better. Stream froze? Did you catch that? Did you catch what I was saying about AC? AC works like in Stars Without Number. You roll a 20 or above to hit, and you're adding your target's AC to your roll. So a lower AC is in fact better. What was I thinking about? Oh, of course, thievery. I am terribly sorry, sir or friend. There's nothing I can really do until I hopefully finally get the quality controls for the stream. No idea how you spell thieves. I'm really sorry about that, dude. I do want to stream in 1080p at 60 FPS, but there's no way I can provide a lower quality option to people until I do get those quality controls. It's a nightmare. 50 to 100 viewers. Well, give me 2 years so, or something. You know, I'm streaming every day for at least 8 hours, so hopefully people will respond well to that, I guess. $1600 bitrate. Interesting. I think I'm going to stick with this for now because for example, I play Reflex a lot, and if I stream it at 30 FPS, people get nauseous and have problems like that because the game itself runs at 125 FPS. So obviously they're used to seeing a very smooth image, and the 30 FPS confuses their brains or something. So unfortunately, I don't really have any choice right now. I do want to provide the highest quality, but unfortunately that does mess with some people's viewing experience. Let's just copy the previous one. No, I don't want the plural. I want to insinuate that it belongs to a thief. Oh, I guess that would be thieves, like that. Multiple settings profiles. That is good to know, but regardless, I do still want to stream at 60 FPS 1080p, especially because sometimes it's uploaded to YouTube as well, highlights from the stream. It depends on what you're streaming. That is a good point, and that is very useful information. So thank you for bringing that to my attention. Okay, I'm pretty pleased with that one. I could do something that gives a bonus to nature checks, potentially. Oh, that's interesting. There's another one. Instead of gaining a bonus to thievery checks, you actually roll twice and take the higher result. I'm not really sure which one I prefer. I think I prefer the bonus because it's in keeping with the other options that we have here. Yeah, Twitch does seem a little bit temperamental from time to time. I've experienced that in the past, but now that I have the connection I'm running on uh, at the moment... Oh god, we lost him, Runiel. I'm terribly sorry, old boy. Now that I'm running on the fiber connection here, I'm actually able to run many streams simultaneously, which is just a godsend. I mean, the major reason I didn't stream for the longest time was because my connection was not good enough. That was the only thing that was really holding me back. Okay, helms. Head slot. A +2 bonus to diplomacy checks and intimidator checks. I quite like that. Something which would essentially modify persuasion checks is the name of the skill from my system. The name they used here is authority, which is quite good actually. Then again, you have a leadership and a tactics in this. So persuasion, it's still the best option, I think, persuasion. I mean, the type of helm or armor that you're wearing doesn't necessarily make you better at leading an army, but perhaps a layman, a normal citizen, an NPC of sorts, could see that you're wearing an authoritative helm of some kind, or some kind of beautifully adorned armor that makes you look like you're a person of authority, and they might be more persuaded by you. So I think that's reasonable enough. Good lord, this one gives a +4. I mean, I know the system's balanced differently, but +4, hell yeah. Insight and perception checks. Hmm. Don't know how exactly your armor would make you more perceptive, but I do still quite like the idea. Oh, gain dark vision. Goggles of night. Oh my god, that is insane. You and each ally within 5 squares of you gain a +1 item bonus to initiative checks. Holy shit. Well, I may have to include armor that doesn't give... It doesn't give a party-wide initiative bonus, but definitely an armor that can give you a +1 to initiative rolls would be quite pleasing to me. Again, no idea what to call it, so initiative will be the name for now. We'll need some kind of word that is like a person taking the initiative, something of that nature. Oh, don't delete that. Oh, this one is classic. You can see invisible creatures as if they were visible. That that does sound entertaining. Well, it's something to consider. Okay, neck slot items. Let's not forget to add the perception item. I'm starting to feel like a +2 bonus is too much. I might drop those ones down to a +1. That's something to consider over the course of this stream. Nothing very useful there. Let's take a look at the rings. So, a couple of things. The one that grants you the ability to see invisible creatures is kind of interesting, and there's also a couple of items that simply grant invisibility, or the ability to become invisible. And I quite like the idea of having an item that does that. I think the wizard already has an invisibility spell that they can cast, so it does kind of reduce the viability of the wizard. But if you have a party without a wizard and you still want to somehow use invisibility, an artifact item would be the way to do that. And I think I would balance it in the sense that, as with the wizard ability, if you attack or perform any action other than movement, your invisibility ends. Looking at the waist slot now, the belts. Again, a lot of the same stuff as the other items is sort of repeating now. Oh, this is getting interesting now. Wondrous items. All kinds of things in here. Bag of holding is the first one. Flying carpets. Everlasting provisions. Both very interesting ideas. I think so. I think the bag of holding, we need something of that nature. Dimension shackles are quite interesting. Essentially, you can shackle someone and they are unable to teleport out of the shackles. Dust of appearance doesn't really seem necessary. You simply throw some dust in an area and any invisible creatures that enter the area will be revealed. I'm not too concerned about including that. And definitely the bag of holding. the everlasting provisions, and the flying carpet, 3 ideas which I do like the sound of. Some kind of healing potion that regenerates once per day. Not really interested in anything like that. I do want the healing potions to be consumed when used. A portable hole. Interesting. Okay, a revenant ankh, that seems to be a resurrection. A ritual candle gives a bonus to rituals. I'm assuming that's a warlock thing. Rope of climbing. Okay, the rope, like, as long as you're holding the rope, it can automatically move itself and tie itself around objects. Interesting. I suppose that is like the advanced version of a grappling hook, where it grapples automatically. Oh, this is brilliant. A sending stone is essentially a cell phone, but it's 2 magically imbued stones, and if one person speaks into one stone, the person with the other stone can hear them. Now we've got potions of healing, potions of life, potion of recovery and vitality, and those are all of the potions, and that's the end of the Dungeons and Dragons 4th edition item, weapons and armor portion. So what did we gather from that? Oh, DVE missed your message. There's something like damage is reduced by... some kind of drain mana ability, or to deal damage to your opponent's mana pool instead of their hit points or something could be quite interesting. I think the way I would introduce drain mana would be to simply give the wizard a drain mana spell, and so they can just drain mana of the opponent, as opposed to it having to be something where damage is reduced or damage is dealt to mana instead of hit points. Just a drain mana spell should work quite well for that. I definitely like the idea of having a drain mana mechanic. I've also toyed with the idea in the past of potentially being able to, instead of taking incoming damage to your hit points, take it to your mana points. So it could be an artifact armor which allows a wizard or a cleric to sacrifice mana to potentially stay alive or not lose health. I'm not 100% set on that idea yet, but it's definitely something I've been thinking about. Okay, what are we going to do now? An invisibility thing. Actually, no, I'm not going to include an invisibility item. Or at least not an armor which grants invisibility. There might be a potion of invisibility, actually. I think that's the way I will do it. I'll make it a potion. Okay, let's remove those and add a potion to this table. I can't remember what my magic defense potion does. Because I know I said that I wanted to avoid adding bonuses to saving throws where possible. But that is clearly what it does. We have a smoke bomb there already, but of course that is not an invisibility potion by any means. Okay, I will be back in 2 seconds, dudes. Sorry about the delay there, guys. Wow, we're actually passing the 7-hour 30-minute mark of today's stream. I didn't realize I'd been live for so long. So there is something I wanted to include in here that relates to the classes. So I'm going to have to introduce a chapter which describes all of the specific details of each class choice, because something I wanted to do was introduce a called shot system for the hunter, where basically you can shoot for the legs to slow your opponent, you can shoot for the arms or hands to disarm your opponent, you could shoot for the torso to gain a +1 to hit, and you can shoot the head to gain a +1 to damage. +1 or +2, I'm not quite sure. So it will add a little bit more depth to the hunter class, because instead of just repeatedly firing arrows, you will be able to make strategic decisions as to whether you're trying to deal damage, have a higher hit chance, disarm, or slow your opponent. And of course, multiple arrows can be fired at the same time, and that works the same way as the burst fire mechanic worked in Stars Without Number, where you consume 3 ammunition, but you gain a +2 to hit and a +2 to damage, which is quite satisfactory in my opinion. Okay, something I need to change before I forget is this should be +1. And I'll reorder those probably alphabetically once I have added the correct names. Let me get this thing back again. I can't remember all of those items. Bag of holding, everlasting provisions, flying carpet, portable hole. What? I don't really understand the portable hole. It doesn't. If you place the portable hole on a wall, it doesn't open a hole so that you can walk through the wall. It literally opens a magical hole in which you can just put stuff. It's quite strange. I'm not sure exactly what you mean, DVE. If it was the armor, he would sacrifice damage to leech mana. And if it's the spell, if it's the mana drain spell, he leeches some life of his own, I presume. I think the way I would do it is just give leech mana or drain mana quite a high mana cost, because it's quite a powerful skill to be able to drain your opponent's mana. And that way you would obviously not be doing any damage that turn, because you wouldn't be casting a damaging spell, you would be casting drain mana. And you would of course be spending your own mana to do so, which is an important resource as well as HP. I just don't... I'm trying to keep the rules as simple as possible, so having something where it drains your HP instead of your mana or something like that, it just adds a layer of complexity that can be avoided. I feel... I'm not saying that the idea isn't a good idea, I just don't think it's necessarily the best choice for this system, because the focus is so heavy on it, heavily oriented towards it being super simplified. Not sure how expensive the everlasting provisions should be. Probably not as expensive as the bag of holding. Maybe 50 gold. Thanks for stopping by, DVE. Highly appreciate the support, bro. Have a good one, dude. I'll catch you next time. Probably going to wrap up the stream in a few moments anyway, as we're coming close to the 8-hour mark, and I am just about burnt out with everything that I can do on this system for one day. I think I don't want to overdo it. It's a little bit monotonous doing some of these things, but it shouldn't be too long. I mean, I could test this system in its current state even, but it shouldn't be too long before I have things a little bit more finalized and we can run some test campaigns. I mean, these prices may change, but I'm just going to put 1,000 gold for the flying carpet for now. The sending stones? I don't know, it just seems so ridiculous. I'm pretty sure that maybe wizards, or maybe even both wizards and clerics, could perhaps have access to some kind of telepathic link type spell. But the idea of sending stones just seems so ridiculous. What's the thing in One Piece called again? A Denden Mushi? Is that right? It's like a snail phone. I'd prefer something like that, where it's like a weird creature or something in the world which allows you to communicate over distances, as opposed to a magically enchanted stone. I've no idea how a portable hole would be used. So until I can understand exactly how it will affect play, I'm not going to include it. I'm starting to think that 50 gold is a bit cheap for everlasting provisions. I don't know, let's think about it. If a single day's worth of rations costs 25 silver, 4 days a gold. So, let me try and do some maths. 200 days would be 50 gold. Maybe 75 gold. Again, all of this could be subject to change. And that's basically it, I believe. Okay, let's just review what we've got so far. We've added some artifact items. We've now got an invisibility potion. We have everlasting provisions, a bag of holding, and a flying carpet, all available. Our armors, we have artifact and we have divine. Healing spells gain a +2. We have spiked. Attackers take 1d6 damage after dealing a successful hit. Okay, I'm going to change that to landing. Healing, gain 1. That sounds like only the individual wearing the armor can gain 1 hit dice of hit points per encounter. Well, I believe that to be correct. Yes, I think that is correct. Okay, so gain 1 hit dice once per encounter. Untouchable. Attackers cannot land critical hits. Discreet. Stealth checks gain a +1. Unstoppable. Immunity to all slows. Undying. Once per encounter at 0 hit points. Remain conscious for 1 additional turn. And the ruling will be that if you're still at 0 hit points after that turn, you will fall unconscious as usual. Flame retardant definitely needs a new name. Immunity to ongoing fire damage. Free as a bird also needs a new name. Athletics checks gain a +1 bonus. Replenishing. If you roll max healing or damage on a spell, it costs 0 mana. Quite interesting. And of course, thieves, +1 bonus to thievery. Authoritative, +1 to persuasion. Initiative, +1 to initiative rolls. And perceptive, +1 to perception checks. And the weapons, we added life stealing. After killing an enemy, regain 1 hit dice of hit points. Freezing and flaming, self-explanatory. Double damage, roll twice the number of damage dice. Still not sure if that's overpowered. It could be overpowered. And double attack, which is one that I'm quite pleased with at this point in time. Doesn't seem from my extrapolation that it will be overpowered, whereas the double damage, I do have a feeling it could be too strong. Didn't make any changes to the spells, but a drain mana spell and a water breathing spell are 2 that I want to include, so I'll make a note. Drain mana and water breathing so that I can so that I can include those next time. So really not that much has been added today, but I think we've essentially finalized the item, weapon, and armor systems, or at least we've gotten it to version 1.0, let's say, though additional changes could be made, new things might be added in the future, but this is satisfactory. as a starting point, I would say. And next time I return to this project, which I will probably do on stream again, just seeing as there has been some interest today, so clearly there is a demand for this kind of stream, I suppose. I'll be compiling the actual books. That is this document right now. Right now it just looks like a total mess, but I'll be introducing proper chapters, a character creation chapter, a classes chapter, a skills chapter, all of the different things that explain how the rules will function specifically, what each skill can be used for specifically. So for example, nature can be used for herbalism, nature can be used for identifying animals, nature can be used for taming beasts. All of these kinds of things will need to be explained somewhere in the rulebook. Of course, classes, like I stated earlier, want to include the various details like the called shots for the hunters, and perhaps better explaining how the bards, wizards and clerics will work, things like that. What else will there be? There'll of course be a section for saving throws, information on fire damage, how exactly that works, and I'll flesh out the rest of it, like how combat plays out, etc., etc. I'm sure there's many things which I'm overlooking which will need to be included as well. So as I say, guys, next time it's going to be all about compiling everything that we've done in the spreadsheet and in my brain into a cohesive document that a player can pick up, or a dungeon master can pick up, look at, and intuitively understand, easily giving them access to all of the information that they might need to run a successful campaign or session using this system. And it's going to be fun. It's quite a big task, I would imagine, to compile a complete book. I've never written a book before. Granted, this is more of a game than a book, but it's still in book form, so it is a book technically speaking. But I'm sure the fact that it's a game will pull me through, as writing a book is probably something I would struggle to do, but creating a game is something that I am quite passionate about, so I'm sure I'll enjoy the process overall. But anyway, bros, I'm going to wrap up for today. Why am I still talking to you from this small window in the upper right corner when I could be here in all of my glory, presenting my hideous face once again on stream for you to all cringe at? Thank you, bros, for all of the support. I can't believe we're up to 118 followers now. That's absolutely ludicrous. Please do join me again in the future for the continued development of this game. It's unnamed right now. I'm trying to think of a cool name that sort of explains in a few words exactly what the system is going to be all about, so that you can hear the catchy title and immediately be enticed by the idea of playing this system. Of course, join me back here tomorrow for more Reflex and probably some Step Mania on tomorrow's stream, so that should be a hell of a lot of fun. Not entirely sure when I will return to the game development side of things. Of course, I am putting quite a lot of thought recently into mapping for Reflex, as I always am, trying to formulate some ideas as to exactly what I could produce in the future that would A, still be balanced, and B, be significantly different enough from F14P1 to actually warrant the creating of an entirely new map. Because right now my ideas feel a bit stagnant. I feel like if I was to dive right back into the mapping process immediately, I would just wind up remaking F14P1, and there's absolutely no need for that. The Beezarius, that is a hell of a name, sir. I enjoy saying that. I apologize, my friend. I will upload the footage to YouTube. How does that sound? I will I'll do that over the next couple of days. I'll break it down into a few parts, 3 or 4 parts, and I'll get it uploaded there so that you can join in this incredible adventure of game development that we are embarking on. So do not worry, sir. The VODs shall become available very soon. But thank you for joining me. I apologize that you missed the live stream and the opportunity to perhaps partake in the development of the system itself. Suggestions and feedback from chat is absolutely crucial and just exactly what I need to encourage me to continue developing this thing. So please do look out for the future streams, of course.
Toasty!
Oh my goodness. I almost had a heart attack, dude. You can't do that to me. Thank you for the follow, sir. Let me look at your glorious avatar, if it will ever load. Please, please, Google Mail. Let me see this avatar. I can't see your avatar, dude. I trust that it's fantastic. But yes, like I was saying, please do. Please do join me next time for the continuation of this game development stream, which is going to be a new feature here, I suppose. And once everything is finalized, of course, the campaign or test campaigns themselves will begin. So we'll get a few players in here. We might even bring in players from chat if there is interest in testing out this system once it's completed. So we might have a party of a few of my friends from other games, etc. And we might also have a party of players from chat. So that could be a hell of a lot of fun, and of course it's going to be interesting to see which features are broken, which are balanced, and how it's worked out, etc., etc. So that sounds excellent. Bizarius, thank you for the support, sir. I look forward to seeing you next time when we resume development. I am going to get out of here now and eat some bacon. That's right. I'm going to fry some bacon. It's going to be amazing. And then I'll probably pass out a short time later. So let's just check the old clock. We did 7 hours and 45 minutes. Let's round up. I'm going to call it 8. We did it. We made it. We made it. 8-hour stream. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'll be back tomorrow for another 8 hours, bros. Thank you so much for joining me here. Peace out.